Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Bjornholm, where today we're going to be doing pretty much the same thing we did last time. And we're just... No, I've done that wrong. I've said that wrong. Harvester was there. So, we'll just set this guy off, so he doesn't miss the start bit there. He's going to be here harvesting field 30. We got the two T6s set up to unload him. We got the John Deere here baling, and we're nearly done with this. Would help if I didn't jump out of it. And I meant to check the price of something off screen, but I didn't. That was a silly mistake. So I suppose I'll do it on screen, and hopefully okay. So I don't encourage you to do this in general, but and that's why, because it makes things worse. Where's the New Holland front loader arms? I need them. So yeah, that was a dumb thing to do, and now I've got to go looking for the... they're over here. Now I've got to put the front loader arms onto this tractor, and gonna keep them on for the sake of it. Because I can always... Well, no, I won't keep them on, I'll just move the rapid bale handle and then put the weight back on. This is why you shouldn't do silly things like what I do. Because they're silly and stupid for a reason. And I'm silly and stupid for no reason. Once we have the bales sold, by the way, we can... I am so glad that I've got this on the tractor, because I can hopefully flip the weight back over with these. There we go. So I'm going to detach these over here out of the way. That can go like that, and this can go right down onto the ground and sit beside them. So now we'll get this guy back running again, and continue from our distraction. Just to remind you guys that I am taking rule suggestions for the next series, which is on a map that is yet to be confirmed, to be honest. I have a few ideas of what map, but I'm going to let you guys decide make the final decision when the time comes. So that's still not decided, and it'll be a few days before the series is due to start properly. But yeah, give me rules. I want rules. I don't want to be coming up with them all myself. I'll pick ones that make the most sense if I get a lot of suggestions. I'm giving you guys time to think about them as well, because when I came up with the rules idea, it was essentially, hey, I've got a night to come up with some rules for this thing. That wasn't a good idea in hindsight. Oh, it's stuck behind the other T6. I thought it was stuck behind something again. I had a piece of equipment that I just abandoned somewhere. So in the next episode, and I know it's great. I'll talk about the next episode when it's time to go to the next episode. I'm only 5 minutes into this one. It's a bit silly to be talking about, hey, look what I'm going to be doing next. You're already here, but look what's going to happen next time. You might miss it. No, because it's YouTube. If this was Twitch, it'd be a different story, but it's YouTube. I can't stream because my internet is terrible. And massively yes, hopefully towards the end of this episode I'll start moving the bales, and that'll be essentially income that I'll be using on getting animals, because, well, it's one of the rules that I have to have animals. I could in theory get a chicken now, but I don't want to. In fact I will, because it is part of the rules. Also, I want to check the price of a piece of equipment. It is a mod, which hopefully will show up. And it is not there. It's not in slurry tanks, is it? No. Did I? Didn't even go to mods, did I? It's a sprayer. It's the John Deere 840i Special Edition. It's 27,000. Okay. So that's the sprayer I'll be wanting towards the end of this series to bring into the next one, wherever that is. Because the next series I'm hopefully gonna have slightly bigger equipment. That's the aim anyways, to have bigger equipment in the next season. Because it's all well and good using small equipment and somewhat unintentionally really low horsepower tractors, because the biggest one I have is 160. That's the T6. All three of them. The T6s are 160 horsepower, this John Deere is 130 something. It's actually less powerful than the T6s, but I think, well, it's better than the T4 anyway, because you can actually use the front loader forks. And it can, you know, pull the baler. Something the T4 just physically couldn't do. That's kind of why I got it. I just wanted an upgrade to the T4. Didn't want to be getting a fourth T6. The three I have, partially intentionally chosen, partially just, I don't want to be getting a T8 again. The joy of having all tractors that have front loader arms is I discovered actually I can use the New Holland arms on this John Deere, because that's how I got the bale wrap bale forks off them the first time. Or the bale fork, I had the wrap bale fork on this. That's how I got the bale fork off the New Holland front loader arms. I detached the stall one that I have on, hooked up the New Holland ones and did that, because it worked. And I'm never going to complain about that. You will notice that here there's a bit of a weird... The harvester went off on a bit of a tizzy. That was kind of intentional, because the courseplay worker was driving towards me. This happened off screen as well, but the courseplay worker was driving towards me, and I was kind of worried that it would drive straight off the cliff. Now as it turned out I did, multiple times, but I didn't want the courseplay worker to get stuck down there somewhere, which in the end he did on the last pass, but that wasn't too much of a problem. But yeah, I just kind of sped things up a bit, which is why things got a bit hectic over this side of the field. In hindsight, I probably should have set the course, well, say GPS to run it the other way, and if I do another manual harvest with the New Holland, I will. There's still a part of me thinking, hey, maybe the Lexions would be nice. And they would, but they don't fit the rules, unfortunately. So I've kind of boxed myself into a corner with my own rules. I'm kind of stuck with the New Holland. Or if I can find a really old harvester, I can possibly use that as a Field 38 machine with some kind of older equipment, if I can find some. I'd really like to see classic style equipment coming into 2015, because oh my god, I love old tractors. I just absolutely love them. New ones are nice and all. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this John Deere. There's nothing wrong with the T6s. There's nothing wrong with a T8 or a T4 or any of the tractors within the game by default, but they're all I don't like the way they look. I like old Fords, and, Ford tractors, which I know it's New Holland now. They were bought over by New Holland years ago, so were Fiat Agri, but I like them. They just have this aura about them, and I'm hoping that NI Modding, maybe even by the time this video's out, will be releasing some stuff, some mods. Admin Manure Pack I want that to come back, because I live about 40 minutes away from the Abbey Manure plant in Nina, County Tipperary. I'm not going to say which direction, but I do live relatively close to it. When I'm going to visit my granddad, I pass it. Huge place, absolutely amazing seeing all the slurry tanks and stuff they have there. So most of the slurry tanks in my area, for obvious reasons, are Abbey, which is kind of nice to see just a solitary brand taking over an entire area of farming. But it's just because they're probably the closest manufacturers, which, yeah, support the locals, I suppose. It's like the the Guinness thing in Ireland in general, where Guinness is essentially the national beverage of partially stereotype, partial truth. Personally, I do like the odd Guinness. I'm more of a whiskey fan, but stouts are nice. Stouts are nice if I don't want to be having a heavy... If you ever tried a stout for the first time you try a stout, this is going to sound silly if you haven't had a stout before. Stouts are nice if you like a light drink that isn't too heavy and isn't too thick. If you've had stout before, you know that's a lie. No. If you get used to stouts, they don't actually feel that heavy. They are still essentially meals in cans, as me and my friends called it in college. Because I was a big Guinness drinker back then. Still do like the odd Guinness, but nowhere near as much as I did in college. Yeah. We jokingly called it meal in a can, because, oh my god, the weight of Guinness is insane for people who aren't used to it. It is the densest drink known to mankind. It could fall into a black hole and come out the other side unscathed. Nah. So what I'm going to be doing for the rest of this episode, just to change subjects, is watch XSplit screw up a bit. Is I'm going to be putting the baler away, and I'm going to be just disposing of the straw bales. I don't need to bring them down to the cows. The cows have enough. Well, where the cows will be, the cow zone has enough bales. So I'm just going to be kind of half speeding around, just throwing him into the sell point. And because I'm not stacking them, I don't particularly care how they get onto the spikes now for this, as long as they're solidly on the spikes, because it is just annoying to have a bale fling off. There's a part of me tempted to join these two fields, because 29 and 30 are kind of the one field, really. It would screw up my course recordings that already exist, but it's something that I could cope with. 5, 6 and 7 I could possibly do the same. I'm going to leave them as they are for now. I'll make another call on that later. Same with 24 and 25, actually. I could pull them together into a second big field. As things are, there will be a nice gain in crop, but I don't think it's worth the hassle of the ploughs, because I would have to do that manually. I can't course play that. I'm lazy and I don't like using a plough manually. The second plough, by the way, is still at the shop. I haven't quite got down to pick that up yet. There's a T6 down there. It's got the mixing wagon for the cows, because that's kind of the next priority on the list. Got a list of things that need to be done, and oh my god, I'm not getting through it anywhere near as quickly as I need to. The bales have to be sold to be able to plough. The ploughing has to be done to be able to seed. The seeding has to be done to be able to harvest, and I somehow in the middle of all that need to find out time to get animals, and ideally a forage wagon, though I may yeah, from how far away that is, I may go for a small-ish trailer, if I can find one, and a prophy hopper. And if and when I get the pickup, I'll just, or a pickup, I may edit one that is super cheap, but no. I was going to edit one that's just like $1, but no, that's cheating, or €1, I suppose. That'd be cheating. I'm not going to do that. I was so tempted though. Not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to wait until I can afford a pickup to get one. Don't even know if I will get one this season, but next season I'm almost certainly going to have one, because next season's going to be on a bit of a bigger map. Because I've already got a few maps picked out for you guys to choose from. I may start off a second series that runs alongside this one, kind of. It's hard to describe, but if you watch Ian Robson, you'll know he runs 2 series at a time. One on a bigger-ish map and one on usually a smaller map, but just so they can play 2 maps at a time and get through maps. We'll show you guys more maps, really. And I'm thinking of doing the same, because there's a part of me that wants to play on the Mayho community map, but it's not really main series material from what's been coming out lately. It's not something that it's going to take extra time, really, because I'll be releasing it alternate days of this one, so it'll be kind of easier in a way. So yeah, I'm thinking about doing that. Give me your thoughts and raise your dongers if you would like it. And if you don't understand raise your dongers, you haven't been on Twitch, have you? Well done to you. Oh, I meant to say this in the previous episode. I'm actually going to stop the tractor here because I want to go on a bit of a rant. I watched the other night, the BBC 5 Live had a documentary on Radio 5 Live, and they broadcast it on Twitch. I'm actually going to keep driving because this needs to be done. They broadcast it on Twitch, and it was titled Gaming, the Rise of the Cyber Athlete, which sounds like, hey, they're promoting esports. That's never going to be a bad thing, is it? And it wouldn't have been. It would have been a really good documentary if they'd covered esports. Instead, what BBC did, in all of their infinite wisdom, was they got somebody who quite clearly had no idea about gaming or esports in general to talk about esports for an hour and a half and play up to literally every stereotype of gamers. I.e., hey, he was interviewing Odie, who is the general manager of Team Dignitas, a rather large, very successful, multidisciplined esports team. And I think it was Odie, and he basically said to somebody anyway, so are you a bit of a geek? And he continued talking about geeks and nerds for a solid 5 minutes out of the whole thing. And I just... If you follow me on Twitter, you'd have seen that I was getting agitated by that. I was getting really agitated by that documentary because, number one, he had no idea what he was talking about, which I suppose is fine, but it's the BBC, for the love of God. They have Dr. Brian Cox for a lot of their science stuff. He's a scientist. They've got, like him or hate him, Jeremy Clarkson for Top Gear. He knows cars. He really knows cars. They've got, all of their experts on various different things, and yet, for the one documentary that could really have changed esports as we know it, and brought it to the mainstream, which arguably it already is, it's bigger than some TV channels. The one thing that could really have brought esports and gaming to the forefront of public opinion, public knowledge, public interest. They chose a guy who didn't know what he was talking about. Yes, they did have pro gamers on for FIFA, and of course, Mr. Moronic, the presenter, decided to ask them. And I know I'm getting kind of insulting to this guy, but he had no right to be presenting this documentary at all, or this show, or this special, or whatever BBC want to call it. The shambles is what I call it. He decided to ask the FIFA pro esports players, professional cyber athletes, as the BBC have decided, if they were any good at, quote, real football. While I don't really think FIFA's an esport, I mean, I completely disagree with the idea of having a real sport as an esport. Online racing, like R-Factor or iRacing, I can deal with that. That's, a skill that's using, at high levels anyway, pretty much the same kind of hardware that most racing teams that have in simulators. I mean, if you want to be good, if you want to be competitive iRacing or R-Factor player, or F1 or any racing game, you're going to want to have a G27. You're going to want to have nice clutch setup, nice accelerator set. You're going to be setting up the hardware to suit you, and you alone, which is what racing drivers do with their cars. I can accept racing games being esports. I thoroughly encourage racing games to be esports. FIFA? No. I disagree wholeheartedly with the idea that FIFA is an esport. And I know it is. I disagree with it. I don't approve of it. I can deal with Dota and League of Legends. Don't like the games. I can deal with them being esports. When I was half considering getting into pro gaming, I played StarCraft 2. Then I realised I was crap at it. Doesn't change the fact it's a damn good game to be playing. Really fun. But I can deal with it being an esport. I can deal with, the most common comparison between esports and whatever real sports are, what people decide are real sports, is and things that can be appealing to the general public, and general public who have no knowledge of esports can relate with this. They're They're essentially digital chess, which, yes, they are. And I was really happy to see on the documentary, and this was one of the few bits that I was genuinely pleased with, other than the fact that it was on the BBC. This was before I watched it. I was just like, oh my god, the BBC have a documentary about esports, this is going to be amazing. I was wrong. But they tested the reactions of some Hearthstone, League of Legends, Dota, StarCraft, and even FIFA players, some members of Team Dignitas, and they came up with a reaction time equal to an Olympic class sprinter. Olympic class sprinters have a reaction time of 0.1 seconds. That's less than a frame of this video. What's... No. Point... Oh no, it was... No, sorry, it's not less than a frame, but imagine, if you got a stopwatch on your phone, basically, turn it on, look at the small number beside the seconds. That's tenths and hundredths of a second. Imagine having a reaction time equal to the slower moving of those numbers. 1/10 of a second. That's a click of a finger, essentially. Yeah. So, just to end my rant, because I started it when I was supposed to be finishing the episode, oopsie. I'm gonna leave, because I'm done with being angry and I've got bales to move. In the next episode, I'll have 2 tractors out doing baling. Not baling, I've done the baling. Doing ploughing. And they'll probably be the T6s. I'll have this John Deere and another T6. I'll be driving the John Deere, by the way, because I only have 3 tractors. Yes. 4 tractors. I'll have this John Deere, which I'll be driving. It's my favourite tractor that I have, and I've gone way too far. And the other T6 will be selling off canola. No. I can probably sell off the canola by myself, so I'm going to be doing that. And problems will undoubtedly ensue. But I'll be selling the canola, get some ploughing done. We will get ready to seed up, and I'll be doing that myself as well. I'm trying to do a bit of manual work instead of having Crossplay do everything and GPS do everything else, because I'm getting a bit lazy. But yes, I'll be doing some manual work. I'll be sorting things out. I'll be getting bales. Well, the bales will be gone by then. I'll be looking at how much money we're making from the canola, and well, I'll be making a call on what to do from there, basically. So, I've been Rainbow Dave. You've been watching Farming Simulator 15 on beautiful Bjornholm. A beautiful sunny day here. Thank you very much for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Do that. At Rainbow_Dave. Because Rainbow Dave is taken. Yeah. Follow me on Twitter, share my videos on Twitter and Facebook, tell your friends, tell your parents for some reason if you want to. Maybe not about this episode, because this one's been a bit ranty, but yeah. Thank you very much once again for watching, and goodbye.